Well, apparently we do live in the clown world, but we now have scientific evidence as a new study has pointed to wokeness leading to being connected directly to mental instability, sadness, depression, and, well, other terrible things. And this new study is probably a great example on why the Democrats are losing so much support. They're losing so much support in droves because life is short. Who wants to be unhappy? I would say you're better off, being apolitical. Who would want to actively engage in something that makes them unhappy? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Let's get into this new study because it's absolutely hilarious. Huge shout out to PDS Debt Solution for sponsoring this video. Look, we're all looking for a fresh start this time of year in particular. From eating better to losing weight, we have some bad habits to stop and some good ones to start. You can give your finances a huge fresh start. Make this year the year that you start to get out of debt and stop being crushed by it. And the first step is to contact PDS Debt for a personalized solution. If you're making payments every month and your debt and your balances aren't going down, PDS has solutions for you. Everyone with $10,000 or more in eligible debt qualifies for there is no minimum credit score required. Bad and fair credit accepted. Save more while you're paying off debt in a fraction of time. I remember when I got out of college, I was deeply, deeply in debt. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I did consolidate my loans at that time because it just made it easier to make one single payment. Make this year the year you take control of your debt. Get a free debt analysis right now at pdsdebt.com/quartering. It only takes 30 seconds. That's pdsdebt.com/quartering. pdsdebt.com/quartering. Now, here is the new report. Mental health, links in the description too, by the way. Mental health experts see a massive increase in despair and burnout among Democrats. Even when Joe Biden's body was, being some sort of, stand-in weekend at Bernie's president, I never really felt despair because I knew in just a few years we would have a chance to mobilize and vote him out. Right now, we are going through a great reorganization, and it's just great to see. Leftist outlet Axios has published an article claiming that mental health experts are seeing a huge increase in patients who are Democrat voters complaining of despair and burnout in the wake of President Trump winning the election and taking office for the second time. I mean, look, I have no idea how these people cope. He's been the president for not even 3 weeks. Not even 3 weeks he's been president, and they're already burnt out and feeling despair. How about just get after it? Go back to work. Get your work done. Focus on you. Focus on learning a new thing. I'm learning 3D printing. It's actually a lot of fun. And I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. Right now I'm printing a shelf, working on an organizational unit. Sure, could I buy it off Amazon for 50% of the price? Maybe, but at least I made it myself and that's fun. Mental health experts are seeing an increase in patients, largely Democrats, citing burnout and despair, in part to the energy required to keep up with Trump's rapid-fire policies. This is him flooding the zone. He's been doing this since he got into office. It's like an unstoppable deluge of policies for him, an unstoppable, just torrential downpour of rain, of new policy after new policy after new policy, and they can't keep up with it. Even CNN just can't keep up with it. They said, this is funny. So the fact that they posted this is hilarious, right? The fact that they thought this was going to be something that they would get sympathy for is even more hilarious. This is funny. Thank you for posting. Yeah, sure. I have 5 personality disorders and mental illnesses, hate my life, myself, my job, my family. But trust me, dude, my worldview and ideology are key to a happy, healthy life. Days without winning, 0. Let's go into the actual study here. So the article notes mental health professionals say even people who don't see themselves as directly affected by the administration actions are feeling frazzled by dizzying pace of Trump's enduring ability to command attention. I mean, you could literally just not pay attention. I didn't pay attention to a lot of stuff Biden was doing because, I mean, it was just too sad. Everything was sad, and I didn't want to immerse myself in that. Quote, they may feel it through the venting of a spouse, the distress of a neighbor with a trans child. That's like 7 people. Or an anxious friend who works as a government contractor. It hilariously adds. The piece further states that Andrea Bonnier, a Georgetown University psychology professor, said, and she's seen an uptick in patients, particularly Democrats, expressing a sense of burnout, guilt, and despair at losing an old way of life. What is that old way of life exactly? Sending, $60 million to immigrants illegally to stay in fancy luxury hotels? Is it, is your old way of life, running trans comic books for Columbia, or spending millions teaching journalists in Kazakhstan how to use gender neutral language in their reporting? Because that's what Americans were paying for. And pretty much everyone here is happy that that's going away. The purse further states, it adds, Bonnier pointed to federal workers who aren't sure if they'll be let go, as well as others concerned about their immigration status or worried about loved ones whose refugee flights were canceled. Well, let me put it this way. If you're not an illegal, you have nothing to worry about. Secondly, I actually do sympathize with the rank and file at some of these government organizations. They're probably not the decision makers. There are thousands of people that probably work at USAID that don't have anything to do with saying where the money goes, right? And so I'm hoping that, they get a reasonable severance package. So the criminals, the people that would lie to our faces, the people that, take advantage of us, they can just be fired on the spot. It feels like no matter which way you go, you're like, oh my God, I'm being ruled by a very different system than I was brought into living in. New York-based neuropsychologist Sanem Hafiz told Axios. Maybe you should check their immigration status. Yes, won't somebody think of the bureaucratic federal workers and the illegal immigrants who now face, quote, uncertainty because borders and limits on the government spending have been restored. The world's smallest violin is playing for them. You see, diagnosis, cope and seethe complications due to TDS. Democrats are so weak. This is funny. Thanks for posting. This is what is called efficient governing. They're not used to it working so much. Poor babies. It's only February. 47 months to go. 47 months to go. Perhaps these Democrats need to hold some more group crying sessions and go forest bathing. Pollster Mark Halperin previously predicted that America will experience the biggest mental health crisis in history during a second Trump term. Halperin urged that Trump has been so demonized for years that tens of millions of Americans, or to them, Trump now becoming president is so traumatic that it will become, quote, impossible for even the most mentally healthy person to truly process and incorporate the daily life. They think that their fellow citizens supporting Trump is a sign of fundamental evil and at the heart of their fellow citizens of the nation, conclude Halperin. We're already seeing Democrats completely losing it, screeching about Elon Musk being a bad guy from World War II. One state representative even saying she has sterilized herself to protect against Trump. What do you want? By the way, this is not something new. Democrats have been unhappy for a very long time. Here's an article in the New York Times, May 8th, 2004, when Joe Biden was in office. The happiness gap between the left and right is not closing. Partial answer. Those on the right are less likely to be angered or upset by social and economic inequities, believing that the system rewards those who work hard, that hierarchies are part of the natural order of things, and that market outcomes are fundamentally fair. Those on the left stand in opposition to each of those assessments of the social order, prompting frustration and discontent with the world around them. The happiness gap has been with us for at least 50 years, and most research seeking to explain it has focused on conservatives. More recently, however, psychologists and other social scientists have begun to dig deeper into underpinnings of liberal discontent, not only unhappiness, but also depression and the measure of dissatisfaction. Citing a wide range of polling data and academic studies, Beauchamp found more than twice as many Republicans, 39%, as Democrats, 17%, believe that if elected, leaders won't protect America and must act, even if this means aggression. 57% of Republicans consider Democrats to be enemies, compared with 41% of Democrats who view Republicans as enemies. I don't believe that. This is 2021. I don't believe that. Why are liberals less happy than conservatives? How about this article? Why are liberals less happy than conservatives? This is 2022. Look at this. Liberal men are 19 on the happiness scale, 19%, and liberal women, the most evil of all, 15%. Liberal women are literally never happy, provided to you and proved to you by science. Conservative men, 32, conservative women, 31. So conservatives are nearly twice as happy as liberals. The science agrees. Getting woke truly does destroy your life. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.